Hello and welcome to another video of my moving series. I'm so glad you guys have been just as excited as I am for everything that's coming with this series. We have a lot to cover today and I honestly feel like I'm going to have to do a separate video of the whole application process and how to improve your application to actually get a place, because we all know we're in a housing crisis right now, which is why it took us so long to get a place, but we're here now and I'm ready to share my journey. And boy, it's a long one. So first off, let's just talk about the whole situation. I was needing to move out by the end of 2022 as requested by the previous people I was living with. So as a precaution, we started looking in June. You'll also hear me say we a lot. I am moving out with a housemate and all will be revealed later. But as I'm talking about what we were looking for, you will figure out that I'm not moving out with Brad. Brad and I are great. He's just not ready to move out yet, and that is totally fine. He has got a loving, caring family who isn't trying to kick him out. He's just doing the smart financial thing of staying, whereas some of us just aren't that lucky. So let's start with what we were looking for.
When looking for properties, here are our needs and wants. I needed to move before the end of 2023. Because there are two individual people, we needed equal-sized bedrooms just to make it fair. We wanted under $400 per week. We were definitely leaning to less than this, but this was our absolute limit. The wants list is a little bit longer. We wanted a house and not an apartment. I ain't about that life. I wanted something close to work and in an essential area to shops, my gym, and just general things that I could walk to instead of drive. This is not a must for everyone, but natural light is so important for my mental health. Also, I'm a content creator, so lighting is kind of important. And lastly on my list, which I didn't realize was so important until we started looking, a laundry room. Not every house has one. Some have shared spaces, especially in apartments, and I'm not about to go to a laundromat.
But today we are going back in time to 2022 when this whole thing started. Okay, so I need to leave in 10 minutes. Are we surprised that I'm running late? No. So I am getting ready to go to my first ever house inspection. I'm not gonna lie, I am shitting myself. It's just an inspection. Like, we haven't applied or anything, but the whole, I don't know. I'm sure I'll talk about it later, but it's a big move and it involves a lot of money and a big life change, and it's stressful. But I'm trying to put those feelings aside so that I'm excited. Like, it's exciting to go to your first ever house inspection. This is a first. Like, I feel like as an adult, you don't get too many more firsts. When you're growing up, there's like your first step, your first word, you get all these milestones in such a short amount of time, and then once you get older, your firsts just are so sporadic. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's all working out a bit too perfectly. Like, this property that we're looking at has so many pros. Me and my roommate, we like have these lists of things that we want, and I thought it would be like impossible to both be happy with the property. Like, it's either I'm gonna get my hopes up and just be like, all these signs were for nothing, or I'm gonna be like, this was meant to be. It is June 18th. And we're going to our first ever house inspection.
This house was too good of a start to the whole inspection journey. It was so cute, had sort of like a very private area. This is the main bedroom with a walk-in wardrobe, which would have been so nice and so full of light. Bathroom, laundry, and kitchen had recently been redone and renovated, and just so modern, so clean, and quite a good size as well. And there's me, hello, being optimistic and having all the faith that I would eventually lose. This is the second bedroom. This is where it went downhill. This 100% would either be a kid's bedroom with a single bed, or it was going to be an office. It was just way smaller than we thought we were going to get. And this is the kitchen. Again, a little bit small, but honestly would have been very functional and would have been really great. No pantry, which was very interesting. We were definitely talking about putting it in this laundry, so that would have been annoying. And this is the living room. You can't see all of it because there were other people inspecting there, and I was a little bit nervous, but it was really cute.
We didn't even apply to this place. Obviously, one of the bedrooms was tiny, and being two separate people wanting to rent, we needed equal size rooms, just to be fair. Neither of us were gonna go down to a single bed. We're both in relationships, so going from a queen bed to a single bed was just not going to happen. Other than that, the place was so cute. It was in such a great area. It literally ticked all the boxes except for the bedroom. Next, we come to July 12th. We took a little bit of a break. We were looking around. Nothing was really catching our eye. And then I found this place. It was huge. It had everything we needed, and it had a third bedroom at the front of the house. So we thought, how great, we'll each have a bedroom, massive living, massive kitchen, dining, everything, backyard, and we've got this little room at the front to have as a study space. I loved the high ceilings, I loved the bedrooms, I loved how big the bathroom was. It just all looked great. It was in a great area. It was in like its own little pocket of properties, so it was really private. It also had a garage. It literally had everything, and we didn't get it. This property was great. It also had 3 bedrooms. One of the bedrooms was much bigger than the others, but it was a 3-bedroom house. So whoever got the smaller one could put more things in the 3rd bedroom. It had this ugly ass wallpaper in the living room, as well as some odd fireplace situation that had a heater in it. But honestly, it would not have bothered me if we'd gotten the place. There was a newly renovated kitchen, which I absolutely loved. I'm not a massive fan of the electric stovetop. I actually just hate it. But again, you get what you can get and just you make it work. It had a newly renovated laundry, which looked great, as well as the bathrooms. Like, it was just looking super modern and super clean. And honestly, a really cute backyard that would have been so great for entertaining. I did, however, hear a dog barking when I was there, and the last place that I lived at also had barking dogs, and it drove me freaking insane. So it was kind of an immediate no from me for this place, but I'm pretty sure we still applied and then just didn't get it. I will say, yes, we viewed a lot of properties, and some of them I don't even have footage of because some of the inspections my housemate went to, or we went together and I just totally forgot to get footage, or I just got to the point where I just stopped filming because I was just so frustrated with the whole situation. This is only a fraction of the amount of properties that we actually did inspect. And then we come to July 19th. This property was great. It had equal bedrooms. It was on a main road, but it had plenty of light. It was so close to work, I could have walked. It was in a beautiful area with so many trees. The place just felt like it could be ours. Like, it was our kind of style. The tall ceilings were amazing. I freaking loved the beams. The kitchen was massive laundry as well, which is always a plus. The bathroom was nice and big, and the outdoor deck just made me feel like I could sit outside every single morning with my coffee and just love living there. Yes, it was a little bit outdated, but I kind of love that. It also had a dishwasher, which like a lot of places we looked at did not have dishwashers. It was everything we were looking for, and we didn't get it. I did not do another inspection until November, and that was because I was so sick of getting disappointed over and over again that when we didn't get this last place, I was heartbroken. I really thought that the universe would pull through and give us this place, and it just did not happen. Looking back now, I'm kind of like, I still love it. It's still so cute, but I'm kind of glad we didn't get it because it was on a main road that would have been so hard to get in and out of the driveway. It was the front unit of, I think, 3 units. As you come out of the driveway, there's the main road and a crosswalk, and no doubt you would have just heard that crossing light go on, and I reckon it would have driven me insane. In hindsight, we're glad we didn't get it, but at the time I was extremely heartbroken. Oh my god. October 12th. Was very curious as to why this place was $310 a week, I believe. I thought, great deal, great area, near shops. It could be everything we want. It is an apartment, but like maybe I can let that slide with how cheap it is. I'm just gonna roll the clips. This was one of the breaking points. Oh my god, I could not have run away from that place sooner. I mean, I knew it was cheap, and now I know why. Oh my god, my heart's beating. Holy shit. Probably because it was hard to breathe in there. Let's start from the start. I should have known that this place was dodgy from the second I walked in, because as you'll see from this little clip that I got just before I walked in, the entire building itself was in a bit of a, needed a little bit of work done, which is fine, you know, we're not all perfect. And then my second clue should have been that the stairwell to get up to like the top apartments smelt like the devil's lettuce. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Like, reeked. Which I was like, I respect, but
doesn't look great for people who maybe are not so comfortable with that. And then, you know, the kitchen was cute. There was a lot of light. It was, you know, a nice space. I was like, oh, you know what? This actually might be right. Gone to the living, a little bit dark, really big, which was nice. But, you know, those little imperfections in the walls, those, you know, the little bit of mold, I was like, ooh, that's a bit, ugh. And then also the bucket on the floor that was there because of a leak was not great. But I was like, you know what? It's okay. Like, you know, it's a fixer-upper. We could do something to help that. Appreciated the bottle opener on the wall. That is, you know, party. I'm all for that. Then the first bedroom that I walked into, no wardrobe, which, like, in the grand scheme of things in this apartment was the least of my worries. Again, the bucket on the floor, a little bit concerning, and, you know, the dents and the cracks and everything that was in that place. But, you know, it had another entrance to the little veranda, which was quite nice, the little balcony area amongst the trees and everything. That was a nice touch. And then the second bedroom. The first thing I noticed, I don't know about you, was the dark mark on the carpet. And I was like, clearly someone spilt something, maybe even burnt something. It's okay, we can chuck a rug over it. It wasn't until, honestly, I heard the drop of water that hit the ground that I noticed there was a leak in the ceiling. Not anywhere in the ceiling, but coming through the main light in the bedroom. I mean, thank God I didn't turn the light on, because I could have caused fire. Who knows what would have happened. We could have lost electricity through the whole building. So that was the bedroom. And when I tell you, that's not the worst of it. The fucking bathroom! I'm just gonna play a little clip over this of my genuine reaction to me seeing the bathroom for the first time. I was shocked. Jaw hit the ground, but then I realized I probably shouldn't be breathing this in, so I immediately just like covered my mouth. I cannot believe that an agent even took this listing on. You would have to pay me to live there. It was the worst listing I have ever seen. And like, I've seen some questionable ones, but after that, mate, I'll take almost any place, because my standards are now so low. All I want is just 4 walls, a ceiling that doesn't have mold on it. Doesn't have to be freshly painted, I'll do that myself. Oh my god. So, the house hunting? It's going great. It's going great.
So that brings us to November 19th, which is the next property that I have in here. I'm pretty sure we did a couple in between, but again, I just don't think we filmed them. I swear to God, if I get copywritten because of this asshole that's got their music way too loud, I'm gonna have a fit. This next property, I think that I was really keen for. It was in a totally different area than what we'd been looking at, but was still close to everything and sort of central enough that we were keen at looking at it. Also, we were running out of options, so we were kind of just accepting that we might have to get a place that we don't totally love. This place immediately was a no. As you walked up the driveway, you could see a giant apartment building over the fence. And as I came to the house, I realized that people could see into the living room and one of the bedrooms. I literally saw people sitting in their living room just doing what they're doing. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be living like this. This is why I don't want an apartment, so that my neighbors can't see into my house. Other than that, the living space was big, the bedrooms were a good size, the bathroom and kitchen had been recently redone, which was really nice. It had a really weird, like, half tub shower, which I've never seen before. It's literally half a bathtub, maybe even less. So you could have a bath, but you'd literally just be like sitting cross-legged in it. I don't know, it was weird. And then in the bathroom was a laundry, which I know is very European. It's not seen very often in Australia, and if it is, it's in apartments, but this was a house or a unit, so a little bit odd, but that would have been fine. And then backyard was so minimal, but it didn't really matter because like that wasn't our biggest concern. But yeah, that was a disappointing one. I was just so over doing inspections, because if you go to inspection and you like take the day off work and you go there and within 5 minutes you're like, no, I don't want this place, it's just I feel like I'm starting to say this about every property, but this one was disappointing. It was in a good area, kind of. Actually, that's a lie. It wasn't in the best area. And it was an apartment. It was a downstairs apartment too, which I feel like you're just asking to hear your neighbors upstairs. It was dark. It was outdated. It smelled like Asian food. It had a little bit of mold in some areas, and clearly an older person had been living there, so there was, you know, some assist handles in places, and it hadn't been cleaned yet, which is a bit of a, it's like, please do the bare minimum. But overall, like, we were getting kind of desperate at this point to find a place, but I walked in and this was one of the places where I was like, no. For me, feelings in and energies in rooms, I can't ignore it. And this place did not feel good. I just felt uncomfortable the entire time being there. I think even the real estate agent knew. But yeah, this was another one that I was like, I am so sick of this process. Whew, mama, we are in December and we are cutting it fine. By this time, we had seen probably, I want to say 20 properties. This, again, all expectations had been lowered. We were making so many compromises. This was in an area that we weren't originally looking at, but I do like this area, but it was an apartment and I was not keen for it. I literally think I walked into maybe 3 properties pretty much exactly like this, in terms of it was tiny, there was zero light, which you think an apartment, it's up in the air, there's hardly any other buildings or trees covering it. You would think it would be light and bright and beautiful. No. The first bedroom I walked into, I was like, okay, it's a little bit small. I reckon my bed could fit in here. It might be a little bit hard to get into the wardrobe, but I think we can manage. Then I walked into the second bedroom and it was smaller. And then I walked into the bathroom and I don't mind an outdated bathroom. Sometimes the tiles are kind of cute. This is not cute. This is, dare I say, hella ugly. And again, we're at the point where, like, it doesn't matter if it's ugly. If it's functional and if it's gonna work for us, we're taking it. No, it was not cute at all. And then the living room was also tiny. I feel like the wide lens angle on my phone makes it bigger than it was. Trust me, it was tiny. We have 2 couches that we wanted to fit. That would have been it. You could not fit a single thing more. Maybe not even a coffee table. Also, because it was an apartment, there was no kind of backyard. All it was this tiny little cement balcony, which just not seemed inviting, especially since the heater was out there. And then this kitchen, I'm not gonna lie to you, does not make me want to cook. You can't really see, but the cabinets were kind of falling apart, and oh, I was so disappointed in this place. Oh my God, I almost forgot. This was the place, I need to try and see if I can find it on my Instagram stories archives. So I had a house inspection at 4:30, and mind you, this has never happened before. I get to said place and there's a bunch of people waiting. It was like an apartment block. They're all like waiting at the bottom. And I was like, okay, that's weird. About 15 minutes go past. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to give the place a call, or like the agent a call. Calling. Not a lot of people answering. Eventually, a person at the desk, like at the office, answers. And I'm like, hey, like, there's a few of us at this place. Like, we've been waiting for a while. And she's like, oh, the agent's definitely there. They must be just upstairs. I'll put you through to them. Mind you, this agent was female. And the voice message that I got from the phone number that she passed me on to was me. So then I call the office back and I'm like, hey, this is what happened. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the old agent's number. She obviously hasn't changed it yet. And I was like, okay, I don't know why you have someone else's number. Maybe it's a work phone, you know? Maybe it's that. Anyway, I thought that was a little bit weird. And she was like, oh yeah, she's definitely up there. She's coming down now. More time goes on. They're about half an hour late now. There's, you know, the other people that are with me are also calling the office and they're hearing the exact same thing. Then another person who was waiting with us also called the office. And then they said that the agent who was supposed to be with us got in a car accident. I wish them well if that's true. The agency is 1 minute up the road from this place. So if someone was late or couldn't make up for whatever reason, they could have just been like, all right, they're running late. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. I would have accepted that. But no, instead we got lies. So yes, someone's coming now because apparently someone's got in a car accident. And so I'm talking to the people who I'm waiting with and they're going like, yeah, this is what I heard, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, won't it be funny if we get up there and no one's actually there?
And lo and behold, we get up to the apartment and there's no agent there. Funny that. So anyway, we're running really late and it's like, I think it took 40 minutes for someone to get there, which has never happened. After all this time of looking and seeing many more properties after this, which I stopped filming at this point because it wasn't fun anymore. And around about this time, we were realizing that we're in a housing crisis.
The national housing crisis.
Australia is facing a housing rental crisis.
A huge crisis, effectively, on housing affordability.
Demand is increasing and supply is declining.
I was fortunate enough that I was allowed to stay in my old place until I found a new place, because obviously housing crisis, they kind of understood that I was trying everything and still wasn't getting a place. So I was lucky in that sense. But I will say it did not make things better. It's been a really long ride, way longer than I thought it was going to be. We're currently in December and it's just exhausting. It just feels like it's never going to happen. And I really hope I can look back on this footage and be like, because if I'm looking back on this footage, it means that it's actually happened and I'm editing this and I'm ready to tell you that we're moving and we've got a beautiful place, but it's just my lack of faith is really kicking in. But I just got off the phone with a real estate agent. I was just doing some calls just to sort of follow up on my applications. Not sure if you're supposed to be doing that. No one's told me not to yet. But you just get left so much in the dark with these applications. You send them through and it's either a week or 2 weeks, or even with this property, I think it's nearly been 3 weeks. Because there's this place that I want so bad. I was like, stuff it. I put my application in. I haven't heard anything. It's still on the market, which is great. I just need to call them, say, where are we at? What can I do to make it better? I have done this before and the agent was great. She was giving me heaps of tips, which is why I made a lot of changes. So I thought it was fine. The agent I spoke to didn't really seem that keen to be talking to me. Maybe because I left him a couple of messages a while ago being like, call me back. He never did, so it's pretty much his fault. Anyway, he did tell me that we're shortlisted, which is like crazy. And he said my application looked great. He could have just been telling me that to get me off the phone, but that's really great. He also told me that if I get it, I will be getting a phone call at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I was so over this process. Like, so incredibly over it. I was considering so many other options, like doing van life. Honestly, I was looking at vans to live in. I was like, if I have to, I'll live in my car. It was getting to the point where option B and C were out the window and we're looking at fucking option K. So January 14th, nothing new. Actually very similar to the last place I'd looked at, and I'm pretty sure it was in the same area, so it kind of made sense with like the state that it was in and what, you know, its interiors were looking like. Again, this one was so disappointing. There was mold in the bathroom, laundry in the bathroom, which would have been a pain in the ass, and the bedrooms were so tiny. Just the little details of things were just so gross and grotty and outdated. This kitchen was not very inviting. And again, it was an apartment. It's not what we wanted. Honestly, that was a great disappointment and a waste of my time. We get to January 20th and there are 2 units available in the same block. I happen to be in the area, so I'm like, cool, we're gonna look at 2 properties at once, easy done. And this is how it went. Okay, just went to both units in the same block. They're both pretty much exactly the same, like same layout and everything, but obviously one's nicer than the other, which is why one's up for the 360 and the other one's up for 380. Spoke to both real estate agents. The one from number 3, which is 380 per week, spoke to her. She said, you know, I looked like a really good applicant, ticks a lot of boxes, but she said, you know, that she was going to contact me within a few days and definitely ask a few questions because they've only got one other applicant and they didn't really like the look of them. So fingers crossed that this is our home. I just missed a call and I think it's the real estate agent from the house that I last applied to, and I'm really hoping this is good news. I've been feeling pretty good about it, but then again I've felt pretty good about some other ones and it's been disappointing, so fingers crossed.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. So it's not good news. It's actually quite frustrating from our point of view.
She called me because she was actually really annoyed for us. She was saying that we were really good applicants and that we should have gotten it, but the actual owner's just being an ass and like pretty much just denied us without saying why, and they're like trying to convince him to do it. But yeah, no, they don't usually call, but she did because she was just like, yeah, she was just annoyed for us. But yeah, pretty much said that our application was perfect and we should have gotten it. So that's fun. Hi guys, welcome to my house.